Hickok 45 here. I'm in a good mood. Guess why? Well, I'm shooting. I'm on a shooting range, but also I'm going to shoot some 10 millimeter for you. I really don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it for you. Look what I have out here. A bowl of 10 millimeter, and those happen to be some of my hand loads I ran across. And we got some Federal 10 millimeter. We shoot some both of those piles and boxes. I think I told you all, so I don't know, maybe it was Instagram or somewhere. Happiness is when you discover a ammo can full of ammo. I forgot I had loaded up probably at 1,500 rounds maybe of 10 millimeter, and found it in an ammo can in the basement a couple of months ago. So, oh yeah, that's right, I remember I loaded. So anyway, definitely have some 10 millimeter ammo. But so we're going to compare, as you can probably tell, a 1911 and a Glock. And there's several 1911s out there, right, in 10 millimeter, right? I guess Colt came out with the first one many decades ago. And now almost everybody, I guess, Chambers, if they make many 1911s, a 10 millimeter. And of course you got the Glock 20 or Glock 29, or the Glock 40. Model 40, folks that don't know, it's a 10 millimeter actually. So while we have the Springfield Ronin in 10 millimeter, before I sent it back, I thought we hadn't really compared these two different genres or types of 10 millimeters. So I thought, let's just do a little video and talk a little bit about it. Share my, I started to say expertise. I'm sorry, I almost said that, really. Just share my opinion. How's that? So, most of you are familiar with maybe the Glock 20. It's kind of a classic in terms of 10 millimeters, one of the most popular 10 millimeters, right? And then 1911s, they're made by a lot of different companies, and the price will vary based on who makes it. If it's Wilson Combat or Ed Brown, it's going to be different from a Springfield or a Rock Island Armory, right? So talking about prices is kind of strange. Glocks are kind of set. They are what they are. What, $600 or something? I think this Springfield might be 7 or 8. I forget now actually, but again, it depends on who makes the 1911. 1911s tend to be more expensive, just in general. And so whoever makes it, that's going to determine the cost largely. So it's not as much a price comparison as just kind of the features and different things about them. If you're looking for a 10 millimeter, what you might be interested in, because it's a cartridge that, I shouldn't say catching on, it has caught on for a long time for a lot of people, but more and more people are looking at it and maybe, should I get a 1911? Or, it's not as often probably a daily carry gun. It is for some people, but it's probably more likely something someone would carry maybe into dangerous game territory, target shoot, hunt with, or whatever. So it may not be a pocket gun. So weight, size may not be a big factor, but we'll talk about some of those things. First, can I shoot it? And without further ado, I'm just going to take a couple shots with each one. Can I do that? And I have not shot either one in days and days and days. Maybe weeks. I really haven't. Good old 1911, they're always fun to shoot. Well, should we let him live or not? I don't think I actually hit him. We'll decide, we'll think about it. I'll just move over to the gong. See if we can pull it on the gong while I decide whether to let that guy live or shoot a man when he's down. Oh man. You can tell they get there pretty fast, right? Boom. 10 millimeter. I've enjoyed having this. We'll send it back after we shoot it today probably, but it's been fun to shoot. It has a great feel. It's a 1911. If you like 1911s at all, if they have a good trigger, and they've got the bells and whistles that most of us like on one, unless you just want a GI model. But if you got a good beaver tail and good sights and everything, good trigger, they just, they fit your hand well and they shoot well. Okay, so that's one big option for 1911. And the Glock, let's shoot it. And one thing I'll go ahead and show you. One thing you get, one of the advantages of a 1911 is the thinness, right? Fits in that holster. That's kind of a pancake style. And there it is. 1911 is fairly thin for a big bore, pistol. Whereas if you try to put this Glock in it, look what you get. It just is not going to fit. It's thick, no way around that. It needs this hole. This is one somebody made me, sent me. it needs a big pocket right there. That's what you need for a, you know, something that big, really. You stick this 1911 in there and it gets lost. So for those of you who are not wise to the size of the big 45s or 10s in the Glock line, you know, there's just a difference. A lot of people, I think, maybe look at a 1911 or even pick it up in a shop, and they're kind of heavy, usually, if they're all steel. That's a big gun, too. I don't know what's the advantage of that over a Glock. Is there any advantage? Well, I don't know either for sure, but the size is different, okay? So, just I go and point that out before I forget. All right, now we got the Glock 10. When did I shoot this thing last? Gosh, I don't know. Let's take out a cowboy. Oh, yeah. Less recoil, I'll have to say. I can tell. Oh, man. Ring the gong. Sounds good, doesn't it? Let's do some bowling right here. Feels pretty good. Yep, 10 millimeter. Okay, so maybe as I shoot, I'll tell you a lot of the differences. The recoil, felt recoil is just different. You know, with the same ammo, it just feels different. This really absorbs it. It's a bigger grip, and it may be too big for your hand. If you're thinking about one of these, it's a little blocky, but if it's not too big for your hand, it's going to be more comfortable in terms of recoil, probably. Okay, polymer, just by the nature of it, kind of is. It absorbs and cushions a little bit, gives a little bit, and so you've got that. Even though the 1911, you know, feels really good. And most 1911s you're going to buy probably or see in 10 millimeter. I'm probably going to have the basics like a nice beaver tail, different things. I don't know if anybody makes just a plain Jane GI model in 10 millimeter. They might. So pretty nice, both of them are. So expense wise, we talked about that. Recoil, I think the 10 wins out. It's got a heavy slide, and that helps. But you know, in terms of weight, this weighs 3 or 4 more ounces than the Glock. When you look at them, you think, whoa, it's a big old thick slided Glock, which it is, kind of. But the Glock actually weighs less than this 10 millimeter. Now, if we got other 1911 10 millimeters, we may get a different result slightly. But I just weighed them before we started. And I'm too dumb to remember whether it was 3 or 4. I think it was 3. It might have been 4 ounces, but there's a difference that the 1911 does outweigh it. Okay. So can I shoot the 1911 again? All right. Let's do it. Now, I loaded all these up with, yeah, my handlers. We'll shoot some Federal here too in a minute. Okay. Let's shoot this target over here. First, let's smoke a little pot. It works. Woo. Boy, I like those sights. I just feel like I can hit anything with this thing, whatever the caliber is. So I guess even in 45, these are just really nice pistols, these Springfield Ronins, okay? So, and we've done a video on that. You've probably already seen that. And maybe I'll link to it. Y'all remind me, y'all are bad about not reminding me, but I may link in this video to the Ronin original and then also one of the Glock. No, this is the Gen 4. We did an original video on the Gen 4 Glock 20, so maybe I'll link to that too, where I talk more specifically about each firearm. So let's shoot this Glock 20 again. I'm going to take them out. We got some jugs down here that we never did get shot in the old Glock 18 video. They're still sitting here. All right, well, let's just pop them. Even those watermelons, which are rather rotten by now, but let's just shoot. Yeah, just hate to see targets like that wasted. Some people would say that's a waste by shooting them. I say it's a waste not shooting them. All right, I get carried away. I'm sorry, I can't help it. So yeah, the Glock is a really nice shooter. Many of you have discovered that. A very popular pistol in Alaska. as I've talked about before. Now I know there's differing opinions and some people carry different things, of course. Not to go hunting brown bear, I'm not sure you even can hunt brown bear, but as far as just a defense to have rather than just a rock or a stick, the Glock 20 is very, very popular up there, and a lot of other firearms are as well. But they just work. They're very, so one thing you get with the Glock, okay, I think a softer recoil, and you get reliability. And whether you're a Glock hater or not, gotta admit, they're just really reliable. I'm sure there's some people watching who've had problems with reliability. They're always those folks. But since the late 80s, I've not had problems with reliability with Glocks, and most people I know, if not all, have not. But they're just reliable. And you notice one thing about it too, you have more capacity. You generally get 8 or 9 round mags for 1911. I think the one that comes with this is an 8 rounder maybe. And then I bought these others that are 9 rounds, okay? And so that's kind of your capacity. Whereas with the Glock, you got 15 rounds, and I think you get even more than that with a base plate on there, another +2 or something. So you got 15, 16, 17 rounds of 10 millimeter that you can carry in a holster that's actually lighter than a 1911, at least this one. Okay, so that's one reason they're so popular. And again, now I'm big, as you know, on thickness of guns. I make a big deal out of that sometimes, especially if it's something you're going to wear inside the waistband or in your pocket, that sort of thing. But now, if it's outside the waistband in a holster like this, it's just going to be out here. I didn't put the holsters on because I wanted to kind of do that comparison I did earlier. That doesn't make a lot of difference, that thickness. It's outside your waistband. It's not pressing between you and your belt or anything. Just not as big a deal. So the thickness doesn't necessarily have to be a big problem with just a belt gun like this. And so it kind of depends on which one you like. Some of the 1911s, and again, you share what you know about these, if you've had any issues with them or not. I know that this gun was designed for, guess what, 45 HCP. And early on, there were problems with them in 10 millimeter. They worked on them. They used different springs, warmer springs, and that kind of thing to help offset some of that. But I think anyway, you get more wear on a 1911 and 10 millimeter, and so you might wear out faster on you. You get a pretty significant recoil with it. So if you are thinking about buying one or the other, I would suggest you try to shoot one somewhere if you know somebody who has one. Okay, both are great. I think you can't go wrong with either one. And of course, there are other choices than a 10 millimeter. We did that SIG. We've done a Springfield. What XD? XD. I forgot the exact model number. That was a nice firearm, and that SIG was really sweet to shoot. Big old heavy thing too. And we did the Glock 40, which was a big heavy firearm. And that's the good news and the bad news. It's bad news when you got a gun that weighs 12 pounds, but boy, when you pull the trigger, they don't, well, 12 pounds is an exaggeration, of course. But the heavier it is when you're firing a powerful round, generally that's nicer, okay, on recoil. Although with these two, this is heavier and it recoils more than the Glock 20, as I was saying. Let's shoot some heavy stuff, okay? Before I let you go, I want to shoot something. Let's just try some of this trophy bonded, all right? A few of these rounds and compare the difference, see how they feel. Sometimes the contour of that bullet wants to hang up a little bit, but these rounds are pretty stout. So we'll shoot a couple of these in both firearms. And while I'm loading this, was there anything I didn't talk about you'd like to hear about? Of course, trigger. I'm trying to be objective here. The trigger on this 1911 and on a lot of 1911s is really nice. That's one of the advantages of a 1911. Single action and a nice trigger. On a Glock, well, it just depends. Some of them have horrible triggers, right? And all of them have a trigger that you have to get used to. If you're not familiar with the Glock trigger, and you take one out to shoot it, very likely it could make you want to throw up, right? We've all been through that. They're sort of an acquired taste. But once you get used to them, they're not that bad. And but one Glock will have a pretty nice trigger, even a fairly crisp trigger. The next one in the same model will have a mushy trigger, so it just depends. So you do sacrifice a beautiful trigger on a Glock usually, okay? Nothing like a 1911 trigger usually. All right, so we're gonna shoot some warmer stuff here. And which one should I shoot first? What would give me better? Let me shoot the 1911. All right, trophy bonded, federal. And I got this one, get it ready to go. So I don't have a big lag time here between shots. All right. Okay, this is mostly feel, recoil, pretty hot round, something I might need in Grizz country. I think you can see the recoil more significant. Yeah. You can see it knocking around that steel. So very controllable, but you know you're shooting something there. Let's go to Mr. Glock 20. So both of them really pop your hand. Neither one hurts though. So yeah, with hot ammo, I mean, you're okay with either one. I still, I guess I'd lean towards the Glock absorbing it a little better, okay? And but not enough to write home about or for you to reject one or the other. The Glock historically has a reputation for probably withstanding hot ammo and rounds longer and than a 1911. Okay, am I being biased when I say that? I don't think so. So many people have Glock 20s, and you just don't hear wearing it out. Well, I had a Glock 20, but I shot too much hot 10 millimeter in it, and it just wore it out. It broke. You know, whether you like them or hate them, they just tend to hold up well and absorb the punishment really well, and they're very reliable. So I mean, it's no big secret. If I were going into Grizz country tomorrow, my choice would be the Glock. Yours might be the 1911. I've got some targets here that need a powerful round. I neglected. I really did. Like that big old jug right there. Yeah. Woo! Oh, let's get a shower, John, right here. You know what? I said I might not shoot that guy that was down, but I can't resist. I don't know. Maybe I did hit him. Put another one. He must have had all the air out of him, is all I could figure. Okay, so let's see what else I need to tell you. What other lies before I let you go? I kept you longer than I meant to. Yeah, that really is a sweet shooter, and so is this one. So we've talked about the size, the recoil, the thickness, the triggers, and there's something I'm forgetting, but that's okay. I always forget a couple of things. And share your experience. If you're one of the 10 millimeter aficionados, what do you like? What do you carry? You maybe have both, 10 or 1911 and a Glock or a Springfield XD or a SIG, or everybody makes them now. So in fact it's a tough choice, really. 10s are almost like a pocket pistols now or something. You'd have a table full of them if you were going to do, okay, everything you want to know about all the 10 millimeters, we'd fill up this table with the various models, no doubt about it. But, the old 1911 is a classic design. A lot of companies make those. And then I guess, because this was one of the early 10 millimeters, Glock was pretty early coming out with one, and it's just worked. It's hard to find somebody that does not like the Glock 20 if they like 10 millimeter, because it just works. And yeah, just does. Now watch it malfunction. I've got a mag loaded here, so I probably ought to shoot. You know what? I've got a mag. I got a mag with both. You know, with my hand loads. So, of course, if we have malfunction with my hand loads, we'll blame it on the hand loads, not on Springfield, not even on Glock, right? So let's shoot both one more time. These are old hand loads, I have to say, but they seem to be doing all right. So one more time, we'll shoot both of them, and we'll send you home. Feels good. Old Mr. Glock. Let's shoot a bowling pin. Well, more ammo, more chances to shoot when you have a Glock. So there they are, the 1911. They're both empty. Let's take the mag out. And was there anything else you were dying to know about these? And of course, you could change out sights on both of them. Get whatever sights you prefer. But both of them are just fine, I think, the way they are. Two really good choices, but totally different packages. I mean, really, I mean, you can't get much more different than a 1911. Designed a long time ago. I forget what year it was. Sometime around 1911, I think. Or a Glock, you know, from the... See, the Glock 20 came out around 90, something along in there. Just both the really nice pistols, 10 millimeter, contrasting, of course, in a lot of different ways, but both very, very shootable. So anyway, I hope that's any help to you. We try not to be too much help to you, so maybe you'll keep coming back, and then maybe eventually I'll say something worthwhile, right? So we appreciate your all support, we really do, and hope you come back and check out whatever we're shooting again sometime. Life is good.
Tired. It's a long walk from where I had to shoot that. Oh man. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. Since you're here, I want to let you know about our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. TalonGunGrips.com. Check out everything they have over there. You can get lots of different grips, the stick-on grip textures for your handguns and rifle grips, so go check them out. Also Ballistol, they're a firearms lubricant or anything else you might need lubricating. It's water soluble and non-toxic. Been using it on the compound and cleaning all of our guns. It's a cleaner and a lube for over 10 years. So Ballistol, Talon Grips, definitely check both of those companies out. And also, while you're on the internet, don't forget to go to hickok45.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Hickok45, Twitter, Hickok45, Instagram, The Real Hickok45, and also I have an Instagram page where I post behind the scenes stuff and different things like that. John, JOHN_HICKOK45 on Instagram. And the next thing you have to do is watch more videos.